I'm Vicki Marquez, a food lover, wellness expert, certified health coach, plant-based chef, and author. And I'm here to show you how to nourish your life from the inside out. With my veggie-licious recipes and healthy how-tos, I'll give you all the wellness tools and tips that you need to eat better, feel better, and live better.
Hello everyone, welcome to PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski, and we are very excited to present a new program for you today. This will be periodically through the year, once every 6 weeks or 8 weeks, something like that. The show is called Nourished, and it is how to eat better, feel better, and live better. And we are really excited because our guest today is Vicki Marquez. Vicki, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Vicki is just this tremendous wealth of interesting knowledge about foods and how to eat, how to cook, how to feel better, using food. As you know, food is our fuel, and what we eat is so important to how we feel. Vicki is a board-certified health coach. She's a wellness expert, and she's a plant-based chef, which I think is so interesting. I think a lot of times we're cooking at home and we're steaming our vegetables, and then we just put them on a plate and eat them, and they're okay, but they're not great.
Need some flavor.
And that's exciting because Vicki is really good at this, and she's going to tell us what we can eat that will make us feel better and what to do with it. Also, Vicki is the creator and author of The Rootlets. Now, The Rootlets is a children's book series about 4 veggie best friends who are superheroes. I actually went on her website last night, and I was really having a lot of fun looking at that and really kind of exploring that whole website. And that's going to be great for your kids, too. And you. But your children are going to get like a lot of interesting information, kind of get motivated about vegetables. Anyway, I would like you to hear a little bit from Vicki at this point because she has an interesting path to how she got to where she is today. So again, Vicki, I'm really glad you're here today.
Thank you.
It's so nice that, you just have such an interesting history and bringing all these things together to become someone who really knows a lot about health and nutrition, how to feel good. And I'm interested in what made you get started on this? What piqued your interest in all of this?
Sure. So it actually started with my own personal journey to health and wellness. I wasn't always healthy. For a while, I was really unhealthy. I didn't know how to cook. I was intimidated to go to the gym. I was eating all of the wrong stuff. I was really stressed out, digestive issues, tired all the time. And one day I got on the scale and I saw a number that when it actually registered in my brain, it freaked me out. And I call that my breaking point weight because it scared me into action. And so I just decided that after trying numerous diets of deprivation and starvation and failing and feeling like a failure, that I was going to do something really groundbreaking, and I was going to eat better, and I was going to move my body and take care of myself. So very groundbreaking, I know. But for me at the time it was, because I had never done that, and it was very foreign to me. And I just started really small with really realistic small changes that felt doable, and it kept it fun and flexible. And through that process, I lost 40 pounds, and that was 10 years ago, so I've kept off the weight. But also, the healthy living really became a healthy obsession. And so I decided to go back to school and get my degree in nutrition and diet and health science. And then from there, I learned about a career called health coaching. And so I went to pursue that, and then I became a plant-based chef. And somewhere in the mix, I was coaching my clients. I had launched my coaching practice, and I kept hearing them say that a lot of their unhealthy habits went back to their childhood. And food is an emotional thing for so many of us, and it does go back a long time. And I also, at that same time, read a really scary statistic about how, for the first time in our nation's history, children are not expected to outlive their parents. And that really resonated with me. And so,
wow. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true. And it's just because of the rise of our chronic disease in our nation. That's, type 2 diabetes was never anything that children ever had to, deal with historically. It was always type 1, and now we're seeing kids with type 2 diabetes and a lot of chronic disease that is taking them far too young. So I wanted to find a way to get kids excited about veggies, and that is why I launched The Rootlets. It's really where super-powered adventures and veggies collide. That's what I always say. And And then from there, all of those experiences just led me here to Channel 4 and this show, Nourished. So it kind of all started with just a weight loss goal and healthy living goals, and now it's my career.
Well, I think that a lot of people do, wonder, what can I do with plant-based cooking? Exactly what is plant-based cooking? Does it mean you're a vegetarian, you're only eating plants?
Yes, so plant-based cooking, or eating, as the name suggests, is really eating meals that are using foods that come from plants. So we're talking about vegetables, fruits, nuts, grains, seeds, whole grains, legumes, all of those things that really you can grow in your own backyard if you have the space for it. But really that's what plant-based cooking is. And vegetarian and vegan, those are a little bit different, but plant-based is just really focusing on that, and it's avoiding highly processed foods and animal products as well.
Okay, so then the plant-based eating, you're really getting away from all the processed foods. You're trying to just go fresh.
Yeah, so again, plant-based, and we're going to talk a little in our steps today with clean eating and keeping it real, and we'll talk about really avoiding the processed and what processed foods are okay. But again, plant-based is just selecting foods that come from Mother Nature. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, we'll be doing some cooking eventually, which is kind of scary, not at this episode, but I didn't really mean scary. I meant fun. I don't know why
definitely
it's
not scary.
No. I don't know why that popped out of my head. Maybe I was like, oh, fear of broccoli. I don't know. But I think that the viewers are going to get some recipes.
Yes.
For this, and it's not scary or difficult.
Right,
to
and
cook.
I think that I'm glad you said scary, because I think that when people think about healthy living and eating veggies, they get intimidated, and it is kind of, oh, it's going to be boring, and I don't think I'm going to like it. And so that's really why I'm here, to help everybody see that, there are recipes that are delicious. You're not going to miss some of the ingredients that you're used to cooking with. It can be fun. It can be easy. It doesn't have to be overwhelming or intimidating at all. And that's really what I, want to do with the show, is help people see that it can be, easy and attainable and fun.
And
a
fun.
lot of fun.
And this is a great time of year to start. I mean, fortunately, we live in a world where we can get almost any fresh fruit and vegetable almost at any time,
We're so
which
lucky.
is really, we're blessed. But particularly this time of year with all the farmers markets
Yeah.
and so forth, you can go out and get fresh food right in your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
So easily, and support those, local farmers too on top of it. I guess, what do we want people to take away from this series?
So I really want people from, everyone that's viewing this to really just, again, kind of see healthy living as something that is fun and that is attainable and that it can be easy, and that you don't have to do a whole life overhaul all at once. You can make small, realistic, doable, changes to your life. It's about upgrading your life. I always say upgrade, and that's about adding things in, not taking everything out, and really kind of changing the mindset around healthy living, because it is a serious topic. Health is a very serious topic, but healthy living and eating better and feeling better and living better, it can be lighthearted and playful and thought about in a different way, so that people are excited to try it.
I think people too, once they have children and you start looking at your children, not only do you want to have a healthier lifestyle because they're watching you, but you want them to grow up healthy and enjoy like a variety of foods, and not sit there with a bag of potato chips or cookies.
Of course.
You don't want that sugar high to get them through the day, because they're not getting the nutrition they need to grow their brains the way you want them to.
Exactly, and that's where the rootlets come into play. I'm telling you guys, you got to check it out if you have little ones in your life, because it really isn't, I don't do preachy at all, I just do playful, and it's really a fun way to get kids excited about veggies, because they're superheroes, and what kid doesn't love superheroes, right? So it's a fun take on it. They live in a plant-based world. They get their powers from their veggie hair. Their houses are made of artichokes and pumpkins, and so kids are going to learn about things. And then when they see them at the store or the farmer's market, they're going to be a little bit more likely to try it, because they know they're going to get their powers from it. So it's just I always say it's a mind shift. Instead of saying eat your veggies, eat your superpowers, and kids really respond well to that.
They do, because they do like feeling the strength and power of getting good food. And actually, as the role models, parents, grandparents, whatever, it's when they see you doing it, it's nice for them to realize, oh, my parents are eating proper and healthy, and I can do that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, Nourished is more for the adult audience and our adult viewers, and helping you as the head of your household really get things, you know, a little bit healthier. Healthify, as I like to say. It's a Vickyism, I think. And then the rootlets is for the kids. So as you're going on this journey, you can use the rootlets to kind of also educate your kids and get them excited too.
Just going back for just a moment to learning how to really be an expert in plant-based cooking. When you first started that, did you feel like you were doing something really way outside the box? And did your family kind of go along on this ride with you easily?
Oh, that's a great question.
You know, was that like kind of, you had to kind of pull them along a little bit?
So my husband, who is, I think, you know, my rock and my biggest supporter, was like, let's do it, you know, and he's not plant-based. We, in our house, we're 90% plant-based, and he will eat everything that I make, and he loves it. But he was like, let's do it, you know. And I stopped eating meat because of my love for animals. And he loves animals, too. My stepdaughter, she eats everything that I make. She's a real trooper about it, from when she was very little. Now she's going to be 20, so she's not so little anymore. But she'll eat everything, and yeah, no, they love it. My other, the extended family, parents and aunts and uncles, were kind of like, oh, you're not gonna eat that with us? We always eat this together, you know. So that was when I first started getting healthy. You know, there was even people at work when I was working in corporate like, oh, you're being good today, and you know, so there's a little bit of that, but you know, you just gotta know that, yeah, it feels good and I'm doing it for the right reasons. And then eventually people are like, oh, okay. And then they start joining on. So it's kind of fun to watch that.
Do you feel like over time that, you know, 10 years ago, people were like, oh, you're being good, you know, where that was like different. Now people are more admiring, oh, you're eating healthy. Do you see a little bit of a change?
A little bit. I mean, I think it just depends. You know, you still get a little bit of that. And I don't like saying good or bad because I feel like I don't ever want to put anybody's way of eating or living down. So I do think, though, in general, our culture is shifting, and there's definitely a big embrace happening with, you know, healthier foods and having more options in the supermarket with new fruits and veggies that we've never seen before. So I think that as a culture overall, we're kind of opening up a little bit more to healthy living, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we're going to stop for a minute. We're going to kind of bring out some interesting products. And one, you know, I like some of the different ways that Vicki does water. And when you say, you know, things are changing, I saw on television the other day that, you know, all the Coke products and Pepsi products and all the soda products are really going down, down, down because people are realizing that water is, you know, the thing to drink.
The elixir of life. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this stuff. This stuff just gets me a little too excited.
So we're going to change up what we're doing, and we will be right back. Okay. You see, we've kind of changed what we're doing a little bit. You see some great things on this table. Now we're going to talk about the top simple steps to eat better, feel better, live better. And I think what's really important is that Vicki is really telling us don't make it, you know, hard. Keep it simple. Don't make it complicated to change over to a healthier lifestyle. And I just want to mention that I think that's the stumbling block for a lot of people. You know, they just go in and throw out everything and like, I'm only going to eat this. And, and it's, they give up after a short while because it's just too hard to do. So how do we make this easy?
That's why we call it diets, because they die, right? Like it's too restrictive, it's too extreme, it's out with everything, in with all this new foreign stuff, and it's really intimidating. And again, this is about taking that fear factor out and really making it accessible and easy for everybody. And so yeah, today I really wanted to just start with where I started on my journey, very small, simple steps, and where I also help my clients get started. These are the same exact steps that I usually get my clients starting to incorporate more into their life. So yeah, and they will help you eat better, feel better, and live better immediately. So
oh, that's great. Well, what should we do to get started?
All right, so let's start with step one, which I call keep it real. And so keep it real is really about choosing foods that are from their whole natural real state, as close to nature, how nature intended as possible. That means, again, very minimally processed. Now, one thing that I want to point out with keeping it real is it's really all about adding really more good nutritious stuff into your diet. So again, we're talking about fruits and veggies, we're talking about whole grains, nuts, seeds, legumes, healthy fats, lean proteins. If you do incorporate right meat in your diet. It is choosing those animal products that are organic and hormone and antibiotic free. You want to avoid a lot of those what I call fake ingredients like preservatives and additives and artificial colors and flavors, because they are linked to a lot of disease and health issues. So it's really about selecting food that is really just how nature intended it to be. And there's this really, really great quote by Michael Pollan that I love, and it's a good reminder when you're shopping around. He says that if it came from a plant, eat it. And if it was made in a plant, don't. And that's a really good rule of thumb, because it's like, okay, again, can I grow this in my yard, or can I farm this? And that's a good rule of thumb, and that's how you know you're keeping it real. So it's about selecting foods that are real and the way that nature intended.
Okay, now you did mention organic, but I think you kind of applied it to meats. Should we be buying only organic vegetables and fruits?
So that's a really great question and a hot topic, and I actually have done corporate wellness programs where employees would have full-on debates about organic or not organic. And I always like to recommend organic, because keeping it real is not just about what you're eating, it's also about what you're not eating. And so I don't know if anybody's ever seen like the farmers sometimes spraying their crops with pesticides and herbicides and things like that, and they're wearing full body masks and they can't ingest it. So if they can't ingest those things, should we really be eating them? So in our episode 3, I believe, we're going to talk a lot about organic versus not organic. I'll go through the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen and give you tips and tools to know which produce items and which products in general you should choose organic. You don't have to be 100% organic, but again, it is better to choose that when you can.
Okay, so then we're going to find out which ones are most valuable. And I guess affordability is a little bit of a factor in this. When you go into the store, you got your whole organic section, you've got the section with the variety of foods. So I think that if people know which ones, it's really important to make organic. That really would be helpful. So we'll look forward to that.
And one thing I want to mention with that is that a good way to think about it is if you're going to be eating the skin of a fruit or a vegetable, then you're probably going to want to select that particular produce item as organic, because you're actually eating the skin. If it's something that you're going to peel like a banana, then it's less important because you're not getting where those chemicals have been sprayed on. So that's kind of how the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen are organized, by which skins you eat and which ones you don't.
Makes a lot of sense.
But we'll go through all of that in episode 3.
Okay, that sounds good.
For sure.
Now the other thing is, so we're not supposed to we shouldn't be eating processed foods. But is that like all processed foods we're not eating then?
Great question. So with the processed foods, not all processed foods are off limits. Please don't, remember I said this is easy and fun, so I'm sure you have things that you buy like bread that is processed that you're going to keep in your diet. There are some really phenomenal brands, and we'll talk more about those brands in episode 3 as well, where I teach you how to shop and stock your kitchen. But for example, Lara Bar, they make little energy bars, protein bars, and their slogan is food made from food. And so they're processed, but they're not using any processed ingredients, meaning all of their ingredients are things like dates and nuts and seeds, and they make a really delicious bar made from all real ingredients. So absolutely you can still include processed foods, but again, we're going to teach you how to become a label savvy detective and know which ones to choose, because there are some that are better than others.
Okay. Just wondering, do you know anything about the way the government now is changing the food labels? Is that going to help people with their shopping, or not really?
Maybe. The short answer to that is that you kind of want to avoid whatever is on the front of the package and go straight to the ingredient list, always. And we'll talk more about that, like I said, in episode 3. But really, it's what's inside the food and not what the label says. So there's so many things that claim to be heart healthy or, all natural. And then you look at the ingredients and there's artificial flavors in it.
Right.
So it's really important to just know what the ingredients are and pay less attention to any of the marketing claims or, things that are posted on the front of the label.
Okay, good advice. Okay, so now top tips to keeping it real. What should we be doing?
Oh, I love this one. My top tip to keep it real, I call it swap it, don't drop it. And that's because I believe that in order to be healthy and to lose weight and to feel amazing, you have to continue to eat the foods that you love, or you're going to crave and cave, and that throws you off. So what I like to do, because we are keeping it real, is always have my clients assess what they're eating. So for example, if you're eating something that you know is not health promoting or not necessarily great for you, taking a really good look at those things that you love and figuring out a way to healthify them, which is swap it or don't drop it. So for example, if you love burgers, if you love a big juicy steak burger, right? One of the things that you can do is take a look and be like, okay, what kind of things here can I swap? So for example, you might want to swap the highly fat, high cholesterol beef patty for organic lean ground turkey, or a portobello burger, or a veggie burger, which we'll cook in episode 2. But also you want to think beyond just the burger itself, and maybe you want to swap your white bun for your whole grain bun so that you're getting more of those nutrients. It's less processed, it's not bleached, it's not refined, so you're getting all of the fiber and vitamins and minerals from that whole grain bun. And then also toppings, so maybe you're used to slathering on the mayo, you can swap for something like avocado, which has the same healthy fat, creamy consistency, and gives it some extra flavor as well. So it's all about figuring out ways how you can keep in your favorite foods just by swapping out some of the less healthy ingredients on that particular food item.
Okay, so it's making it still delicious, but changing what your taste buds enjoy.
Yes
Little
and
bit.
no. I mean, it's so. You're saying it doesn't taste good?
I'm not. But you know what I'm saying? If somebody likes a big burger with
Right.
mayonnaise on it, then a turkey burger with avocado tastes different. It's delicious,
Right.
but it's not that.
Right. So there will be things that aren't going to taste identical because they're not identical foods. One really cool thing, though, and I have tested this and tried this at home, is that 15 times of eating something actually does alter your taste buds and the chemistry of how you taste and process foods. So if you don't maybe like avocado, give it another try and give it another try and another try, and you're gonna love it. And I promise this is true. And it's even, you know, I used to be a fast foodaholic. I was. And now, after 10 years of not eating it, I don't miss it, I don't crave it, because my taste buds have changed so much that it feels too heavy for me. So yes, the flavors will be a little bit different, but I promise you they will not be boring, they will not be tasteless, they will be delicious, and they will be easy to make, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I promise.
You know, you're absolutely right. Our son decided after college, where, you know, that's when you are eating not well,
Right,
usually.
right.
And he decided a very predominant fast food restaurant that he had had a lot of, he decided, you know, I'm just not going to eat that anymore. And today, I mean, he's graduated 10 years ago. I mean, he still wouldn't dream of eating. I mean, it just doesn't even smell good, taste good.
Right.
He just would never eat that. So it's just a matter of changing just changing a little bit at a time. Yeah,
right.
like you're saying. Just
Yeah,
a little
and
bit.
again, like as I said before, I don't want this to feel intimidating. And I know that a lot of viewers freak out about plant-based because it's just a different concept and it seems very restrictive. But I want you guys to think about this really again, about adding good stuff in. Keeping your burger, that's fine, but like let's start adding in some extra veggies and some unique sides, and that's what the recipes will help you do, is bring new things in that are delicious and easy to make and that are just going to add more nutrition and healthy benefits to your life.
Great. Well, we have so many choices.
Yes.
All right. So now
So moving on.
we have do what moves you.
Do what moves you.
You need to get moving.
You do need to get moving. And I know this is hard for a lot of people because exercise feels sometimes dreadful, right? Nobody wants to just pound away on the treadmill for an hour. I'm there with you. I don't run. I don't like it. But the truth of the matter is if you want to live better and feel better, you do have to move your body. There are no doubts that the benefits of exercise are proven, and it's a great way. It's energizing, heart boosting, mood boosting, heart pumping way to get your mind and body in fantastic shape. So the trick here is to really do what moves you, which means find ways to move your body that you actually enjoy and love. So that's kind of new for some people because I think there's this stigma of I have to be running or I have to be at the gym lifting weights, and that's not true. So find things that you like. It can be gardening, it can be swimming, it can be walking your dog, it can be hiking around the neighborhood. Anything that you enjoy doing, do those things. And if you're not sure where to start, I always suggest, start where with the activities that you liked when you were a little kid. So maybe it was bike riding or chasing bubbles around the yard. Whatever it is, you're never too old to do that. And you can absolutely burn calories and get your body moving in a fun way. One thing that I do want to just say here, as with any health or wellness information that you read about or try to apply to your life, always consult with your physician first, just to make sure that those changes are right for you and where you're at in your life. But it's it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be overwhelming.
And don't be afraid to try something. I think sometimes, you look at somebody doing something, whatever it is, and maybe it's fast walking or yoga or bicycling or whatever, and you think, oh, I really can't do that.
Right.
Well, you probably really can,
Right.
and it might be really fun, so
Yeah.
you should give it a try.
Yeah, and I think fun is the biggest thing with every single thing. I keep coming back to fun, because if you are having fun, you're going to get it done. If it's not fun, you're not going to want to do it. So for me personally, I like to mix up my activities. I do yoga, I do tennis, I'll do weight training, I'll jam out on the elliptical, and I'll jam out to Beyonce around my house, and that totally counts as a workout. So just find the things that you like. And one more place that I always suggest that everybody starts whenever you're adding any kind of activity to your life is to start really, really small. So this, again, should not be intimidating or overwhelming. For example, when I started on my weight loss journey, I would just do 1 lap around the block, and then I was done. And then I increased to 2. And then I increased to can go an extra block. So just start really small and build on that. You can do maybe 1 day a week instead of 5, or 10 minutes instead of 30. And then once you're comfortable with it and it's manageable, then you can increase it. So just start really, really small.
And they'll be surprised at how much better you feel when you start doing that.
Of course, you're going to be
moving
sweating
around.
out those toxins, and your endorphins are going. So
right.
yes.
Exactly. Okay, now with water,
Water.
we actually talked, a little bit about, how important water is, and how people are kind of moving a little bit more toward drinking, more water. But does water have anything to do, if you don't drink enough water, does it have anything to do with any kind of weight gain or, having difficulty controlling your weight?
Absolutely. So yes, water is the elixir of life. Our bodies are 60% water. So when you are not hydrated, a lot can happen, because good hydration is required for our digestive system to break down our food, to move it through, absorb nutrients, get the waste out. It's essential also for our skin, to moisturize our skin. Our brain is 90% water. So even the slightest dehydration can actually cause headaches and fatigue and brain fog, and it can mess with your mood, and really just have some overall cognitive impairments. So water is definitely important. And then to go back to your question with weight loss, yes, 100%. And here's why water helps with weight loss. When you're dehydrated, for example, your organs have to work really, really hard to perform their assigned functions. So by staying hydrated, everything is moving quickly. If it's not, you burn a lot of energy, and that makes you tired. And if you're tired, your brain is like, oh, I need energy. I get my energy from food. I should go eat something. So then you eat, but you're still dehydrated. So you have to work harder to break that food down. And that's why we're usually tired after a big meal. And that's also why you might have heard, people suggest drinking water before a meal or when you feel hungry.
Right.
Because thirst is often mistaken for hunger. So drinking water is going to help with the weight loss, help keep your hunger cues in check. And a really, really cool recent study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism is that water actually boosts your metabolism. And this is a new finding from that study. But if you add an extra half a liter of water to your day, you're going to increase your metabolic rate by 24 to 30%.
Wow, that's huge.
And that's for the hour and a half that your body is processing that water. So it speeds it up really quickly as that water is going through. And so over the course of a year, that can be up to about 5 pounds of weight loss if you're doing that every day.
Just drinking water.
Just drinking water. And then usually, like you said, if you're drinking soda or some soft drinks, you're going to go from a caloric drink to a non-caloric drink, which again will save you calories and help with weight loss.
Right.
And two that I have, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and just skip through that.
No, look how beautiful this water looks. It makes you want to drink the water.
Well, this is actually one of my tips, and I didn't want to get ahead here, but this is one of my tips to actually drink more water for people who maybe don't think that there's enough flavor for them. And it's really what I call becoming a master mixologist with your water and making these delicious agua mocktails, as I call them. And so this in the picture, we have a cucumber, lime, basil water. And then in the mason jar here, I've made a berry chia mocktail. There's no alcohol in here yet. But you can absolutely add a little bit if you're feeling so inspired. One thing I want to mention with the berry chia is that actually chia seeds, when they're when they're mixed with a liquid, they swell. And so if you add a little bit to your water, it will expand in your stomach and keep you full longer, which also helps prevent overeating.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I think you just want to drink these. I was just telling Vicki, I mean, there's nothing better looking than water with a little fruit in it, and it has just a nice different flavor. Though drinking just plain water is pretty great too.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you want something a little special and different.
Absolutely, and you can play with any fruits that you like, spices, herbs. Sometimes in the winter, I'll boil cinnamon sticks and cloves and apple slices and pineapple, and I'll make a warm water drink to sip at night. So you can really have fun with it and infuse anything that you love into your water.
You know, they give you this at the spa. So
it is.
So it's like you can have a spa at home.
Spa water.
Make it yourself, spa water.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is amazing. So now, how much water should we be drinking? You know, we're filling these giant containers full of water, and people are like, we must drink all this water. Is that true? We should be drinking water.
You should drink water. But how much is really dependent on you. There's a good rule of thumb. It's the 8x8 rule, which basically means 8 ounces of water every day.
That
for
still
women.
holds.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's generally about 2 liters. For men, that's 3. But again, it depends. If you're very active and you're sweating a lot and burning a lot of calories, you'll want to drink a little more. We're entering summer, so you're going to want to drink more if you're outside in the sun because you'll dehydrate faster. So just depending on those factors. But yeah, the 8x8 is a really good rule to follow.
Okay, well that's good to know. So what they've been telling us for years, really drink 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water is
should. That's
really
a good goal to go
good
for.
Goal.
Yep.
All right. Now we also have a partner in our lives that includes stress management, and how do we deal with that? Because that then prevents us from doing all these other things sometimes.
Absolutely. So, step 4 is what I call kiss stress goodbye. And the reason that I want to talk about stress is because it happens to all of us, whether it's day-to-day pressures or extreme life events. We all get stressed out from time to time, and it can have really harmful impacts on our health, heart disease, heart problems, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, insomnia. 85% of the reason that we go to the doctor is usually stress-related ailments. So it's really good to manage your stress. And so today I want to talk about how to manage your stress really quickly and easy and give it a big old kiss goodbye. And we can do that by being here in the now. There's a great quote that I love from one of my favorite authors. His name is Eckhart Tolle, and he said that all stress is caused by being here but wanting to be there. And that basically just means that you are either worried about something that's already happened, or you're nervous about something that's going to happen, and you're not really being in this present moment, because generally right now we're okay. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my top tips for busting through stress, is just stay in the present moment and just know that you're all good right now.
Okay, and to do that, we can fix ourselves a lovely cup of tea, read a book, and do some of those things.
Absolutely. So with the stress, one of my other top tips for stress that I like to do is what I call a meditation game. And it's basically, the acronym GAME stands for gratitude, which is giving thanks, because that automatically takes you out of a stressful place. Your brain can't be stressed and worried if you're focused on what's good and right in your life. So by practicing gratitude, by focusing on an affirmation or mantra, which is why I have these little power thought cards here, which is just a positive statement that you can come back to every day. And so I usually like to say, in this moment I'm okay, or right now I'm all good, or I've got this. It can be a statement like, I am healthy, I am strong, or if you're struggling with money issues, I'm abundant. Whatever you're struggling with, having something positive to come back to is a really great way to kind of reduce stress and keep you calm.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the E in that is embrace. And again, it's just coming back to that moment and embracing what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's a nice way to remember what to do, just with the word game.
Yeah. So that's a good way. And that's usually how I start my meditation practice, is just those 3 things, and then I go into some breathing, and it really feels like I just left the spa, and I feel very calm and centered after that.
Well, so you're suggesting that you're putting you in the to-do list, because we don't put ourselves in I have tons of lists at home. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm checking it off as I go, but I actually am never in that list.
Right, and that's a great point, and that brings us to our 5th and final step, which is add you to the to-do list. And like Sue said, we're always doing everything for everybody else, all of our have-tos, not our want-tos, and so add you to the to-do list is really about making time for the things that you really, really want to do, the make your soul sing kind of things. It might be cooking a great meal, it could be booking a massage, starting a new creative project. And there's two areas that I like to focus on with my clients here, and one is rest and relaxation. It's carving out time for rest and relaxation so that you can decompress and recenter yourself. And then the other is just pure pleasure, the things that you love to do and never seem to find the time for. If it's going to the roller rink, or it doesn't matter what it is, just making time for those things. So important for your health.
Yeah, it really is.
That's the live better portion of this.
Right,
you know?
right.
And it's kind of like if you've ever been on an airplane where the flight attendant says, you know, put on your oxygen mask in the event of an emergency before you help anyone else. Because if you aren't good, you can't serve and you can't help other people. So it's about making sure that you're good and you're stress-free and living and feeling great so that you can then help other people do that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right.
Yeah.
Well, these are all things we're going to continue talking about, you know, as time goes on.
Absolutely.
As well as doing some cooking, which I'm really excited about, you know, finding out how to cook a plant-based diet that's delicious. I think that's going to be really fun.
Yes.
I do want to talk for a minute that, you know, Vicki is also an author, and there is, there's an ebook, and there's the Rootlets book. We talk about that just a little bit.
So here's the Rootlets book, because we'll just start with that really quickly. This is the Rootlets children's book. This is the first book of the Rootlets series, and it's called Super Root Abilities. This is where they basically learn that they're superheroes and what their powers are. And then book 2 will be coming out later this fall, and that's Trouble at Fantasyland. But as for the purpose of this show, I do have a free ebook on my website that you can download. It's got all 5 of these steps with many, many, many more tips and a lot of delicious plant-based recipes that you can try. And you can get that at my website at www.vickymarquez.com, which should be at the bottom of your screen. And you can also get that here at the Channel 4 station, so we'll have that here for you as well. But again, that includes everything we've talked about today, all wrapped up in a nice little 18-page book, and it has, like I said, recipes and other tips as well.
Wow, that is marvelous, because you can listen to it, and then I think sometimes it really helps to kind of go over things again, you know, visually, so you it really makes an impact. Yeah, that's wonderful.
And you can refer back to it and pick the things that you want to start with. Maybe it's just the water and you hold off on the other things and then go from there and continue to build.
Okay, now next time we are going to be cooking.
We are going to be cooking.
And we're going to be cooking barbecue?
Yes, so summer's here. Next month, our episode, we will be in my kitchen. We'll be cooking a very healthy plant-based barbecue. So if you have a party coming up, or if you're hosting a party, this is a great way to bring some healthy, delicious plant-based foods to your barbecue. And then just on the topic of next month, I do want to mention that I will be with the Rootlets at this year's Veggie Fest, which is in Lisle, Illinois. It's July 23rd and 24th, and there's going to be live music, fun activities for the kids, over 1,000 vendors, all vegetarian, vegan, so you'll be able to try plant-based food from real professional restaurants here in the area that you can incorporate into your diet. And the Rootlets are going to have new products available. We're going to be doing a huge, huge, huge giveaway with Ruby, which is an online cooking course where I got my plant-based chef certification. It's a $1,500 value. It's led by some great instructors, and you'll learn the basics of how to start a plant-based diet and how to cook really delicious plant-based foods. So if you're interested, come out to the fest. I'd love to meet you. All of our proceeds from the Rootlets, 10% of that will be going to Lurie Children's Hospital, who I'm in partnership with as part of our Rooting for You program. And so I'd love to meet you guys and have a little bit of summer fun, and hopefully you can win a really cool plant-based chef certification.
Yeah.
And there'll be more grand prizes too.
A wonderful grand prize. What a great thing to be able to learn to do that, do what she does, or, you know, try. She's going to show us some great ideas, and I really am so excited for all of us to learn more about, you know, some delicious cooking that's going to make us have a better, healthy life, feel better, live better.
Eat better, feel better, live better. And one last thing before we close out here, I just want to mention that if you are watching and you have a burning question about this episode, anything that I've discussed here, feel free to email that question to me. You can email me at vicky@vickymarquez.com. That will also be at the bottom of the screen here. You can go directly to my website, and there's a form, a contact me form that you can use as well that says Nourished TV question. So you just pick that one and send me your question. And then we'll be selecting a few to answer at the end of next month's episode. So if I don't respond back personally, your question might be selected. So
awesome.
feel free
That's
to send
great
them.
because if you do have a question that you think would be valuable to not only you but people in general, that would be really terrific. So get in there and ask a question for Vicki to respond to next time.
Yes.
And the show Nourished will be back again in a few weeks. And look for that. I hope you enjoyed today's program. I sure did.
I did
I've
too.
learned so much, and Vicki's just so inspired. She has so many things that she knows so much about. And I like your concept that, it's a gradual change and just incorporating things into your life that will help you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy, fun, effortless. You guys can do this, and we've got your back. That's what we're here for. So
Excellent. Well, thank you, Vicki, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching us, and we'll see you
See you
next
next time.
when we do Nourished. Bye-bye.